one and only, man. My mic's finally on. See, man, I'm glad I wasn't talking too soon. But, man, John Frusciante is in the building. Brand new label. Got his artist. You might need to squeeze in a little bit, fellas, so we can, see everybody up in here.
Yeah, we in the building.
Yeah,
Black Knights in the building.
Black Knights.
Black Knights in the building.
LBC.
Compton.
Yeah, Compton. Okay.
Yeah.
That's right. And, man, first of all, man, let's, we got to start with you. Obviously, you've done so much, man. Incredible things, You've been accolades after accolades. One of the greatest guitarists, influenced a lot of people. Done some amazing things with it, man. It's, Chili Peppers, Mars Volta, to, your own labels, we just got to thanks for coming through, man. First of all, man, it's really dope. But yeah, see, I want to touch just like a little quick second, on the guitar. You want the mic? You want to take it out? You can take it out.
Right at this distance?
Oh, yeah. Hopefully so.
Have him talk into it. Have him talk into the mic.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's up, John?
Oh, you over there? Yeah. Okay.
Yo, I'm with y'all.
But yeah, you started young, and hooked up with the Chili Peppers and everything, and Rick Rubin, came along after you guys, started doing some stuff. Rick Rubin's a big influence on a lot of, what we're doing over here. He's one of my idols and everything. Any cool stories you could say, talk about with Rick Rubin or anything, that off the head? Bad vibes? What?
No bad vibes. I just, at this point in my life, I just find it interesting that I had such a close relationship with him, and him being one of the pioneers of hip hop and stuff. And
right.
I came into doing this kind of music, not from being on a path that Rick would have advised me to go on.
Right. You were studying the greats,
Yeah,
guitarists.
But what led me to doing this was doing electronic, avant-garde electronic music that's not at all aimed to be popular or commercial.
Right.
And eventually I did that for long enough where it was now I can do hip hop. It wasn't ever something I was aiming at. And so I really, in choosing to go in the uncommercial path, disconnected me from Rick. But once I started doing hip hop, it was interesting because then I'd listen to LL Cool J record that he made or something. And I have insight not only into what he was offering as a producer, but in terms of I'm using those same machines and the 707 and stuff. So to hear him doing the rad stuff that he was doing on the 707 back, in 85 or something, it's just fun for me. And yeah, to have that, having worked with him for so long, I know what a lot of what he gave to my band was drum ideas and vocal ideas. So I have that experience of working with him. So he's one of the pioneers of hip hop that when I listen to him, not only do I have a certain insight into the music, but also into how his mind works and stuff. So
right.
Yeah, so yeah, it's an interesting circumstance of fate that this person I worked with so long, I ended up having this other connection to besides what we did, and the fact that I ended up being a hip hop producer myself.
Right. Yeah, coming all the way to doing labels and stuff like that.
Yeah, so I think about him a lot and stuff.
Yeah. I'm sure you draw influences from all over the place. But who are some of your influences that you can talk? I'm sure it changes.
Yeah, I'm the opposite of a lot of people in that way. I make. I tend to listen to things when it's similar to something that I'm doing. It's not so much that I listen to things and then want to do something like that.
Right.
But in hip hop, you mean? Yeah, I just really like the way it was in the 80s. I really like the way it was in the 80s and early 90s and stuff. And
the golden era.
Yeah, the great, Marley Marl is one of my favorite producers.
Definitely.
And but Yeah, I like it when the people are real experimental and stuff, and when they didn't really clearly know what they were doing yet. That's
Right.
what I really learn a lot from as a musician.
Right.
You know.
Well, just mentioning Marley
Yeah.
Marl just says a lot, you know.
Yeah,
A lot of people aren't gonna say that, you know. They're gonna go to, you know, a little something more obvious or something. But you
Coming
know.
from New
Yeah,
York.
no, I see his productions as being a really immaculate
Oh
thing.
yeah, innovative for its time and
Yeah.
everything. Yeah, and you know, I want to congratulate you too, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
You know?
Uh,
That's big. Yeah, definitely.
Big
definitely,
ups, John.
Definitely. Come on, give it up, everybody.
For
you know?
real.
Man, there's so many things to talk about with you, you know. But you have a label now. Let's get, you know, to the thing. And-
what do you mean I have a label?
Well, I heard you know you.
No, you putting out records now.
You putting out
No.
records yourself? No, or
No.
some you're just working with these guys, or putting.
Well, no,
what was with the
my
waves?
records come out on a label called Record Collection, and that's the same label that this album is put out
Okay.
on. Yeah,
Okay.
I've been putting out records on that label for like 10 years.
I stand corrected. You
Yeah.
know, yeah, okay, obviously, okay. Well, you know, how'd you hook up with these guys, the Black Knights? You know, now I'm sure you done all that work. You know, with RZA, I'm sure maybe met them through them, or how did this
Yeah,
come
like
about?
I've known Monk for about the same amount of time I've been friends with RZA, and I guess that was about 6 years ago or something.
Mhm.
Yeah, like about 6 years ago.
Yeah.
About 6 years ago, you know, we was RZA, you know, brought us together and we started chilling, you know. But then me and John, you know, built a relationship on the side, you know, as far as, you know, he was doing his little projects and EPs off of, if you ever heard of the Imperium, you know, which was a good record that he had put out, and I really dig that. And, you know, RZA put some of it in his movie that he did, The Man with the Iron Fist. But then John, he was doing his next project, and he was working with my boy Kinetic from Killer Army, but he had asked me, you know, to come through, you know, and I was like, yeah, what's up, you know. So we did a recording, and then it turned into another recording that we did on this album, which was first we did the FM,
Yeah.
then we did the Let Lefeur, then we did the Let Lefeur.
Well, Leonard Leffer is the
okay.
album that FM is
Oh,
on.
FM is on, okay, and then, you know, then we built more relationship like that, and then, you know, we kind of built a nice little vibe that we had, and so he asked me to come through again, and, you know, I did a track for him, and then, you know, we hang out more and stuff, you know, me, him, and RZA, and then, but also on our own, you know, because we like to watch boxing matches and stuff. When we get together over at John's house, he throw some but then, you know, he asked me to bring Crisis the Sharpshooter in, you know, which is my partner from the Black Knights, you know, that's our group, we were signed to Wu-Tang, you know.
Yeah.
In '98, first we debuted on the Swarm or whatever, you know. Then we was on all like RZA's solo projects, the Bobby Digitals and stuff, and
Loud.
What?
Loud had a single on. you
yeah, then
guys,
we had,
you know?
then we were signed to Loud. We were
Yep.
signed to Loud. Actually, we did a deal with Loud, but then that's when Loud had got bought out by Sony, and then once Sony didn't pick up no hip hop acts, so Loud lost their record label, and then
Right.
so that's how Mobb Deep was free agents. Fat Joe and Big Pun's projects had got put on that side. Then Wu-Tang, they had just dropped that Iron Flag, but that was the last thing going, and then that messed up because we was on Wu-Tang / Loud, and Loud was putting out the production, but once that got bought out and Sony didn't pick up no hip hop, that kind of left us on a bridge, you know.
Right.
So then, you know, we was more or less still.
That's when we came with the Every Night's a Black Night.
Yeah, we dropped the Every Night's a Black Night independently, you know,
Rockboard Entertainment.
and which we did good. We sold 10,000 units independent, you know, as far as RZA was gonna put that out, but at the same time he had a whole lot going
Yeah.
with his ventures, and he had just started getting into entertainment and stuff as far as the acting, you know, so, you know, at the same time, but we still had to keep it moving musically, you know.
Yeah.
So we put out Every Night's a Black Night, that caught a buzz and stuff, and then we went back in the studio with RZA and started a project called All Skills No Luck. But, you know, due to the fact of he started doing more Wu-Tang, and so, and then that project got more or less put in the hands of the label, and then it was like,
It didn't come out again.
yeah,
huh?
due to the fact of certain things. But during this time, that's when me and John was still working together, and we built up, you know, and then more recordings that came. We did a first song, which is off the album, called The Keys to the Chastity Belt. You know, that was the actual first song we recorded with, as far as Black Knights and John Frusciante. And then it was like, so we came back to do another track, and then more or less it wasn't never we never came in on the sense of let's make an album, but then John started sending me like a couple songs. We got into about like say 7-8 songs in. He sent these songs to my email and stuff like, check these out. I was like, I emailed him back like, John, it sounds like we got a little something.
Yeah.
So next thing you know, we did a couple more recordings, and then he sent me something back. But this time he had like some samples. He had some introductions. He had basically albums. I was like, oh, we got a little something.
Yeah.
But by this time we was already in the fluctuation of making music, and it was so organically. By this time we got a good like 20 songs now.
Right, full projects already coming together.
But the one thing we did, he was like, all right, he came with. He was like, I want y'all to come over, and then we'll sit down and see what we got.
Right.
So boom, we listened to that, and then not only did we have the Medieval Chamber, which we dropped, and I'm glad that he put it together as perfection and professionally as he did. But we noticed we had more material, so now we're 3 albums in.
Right.
The second one is
like
called
45 songs in the last year and a half.
Yeah, so it's crazy.
45 songs in a year and a half.
Yo, what's the vibe like working with John in the studio though?
Yeah.
You want to answer that, Crisis?
Go ahead.
It's chill. It's regular life. That's what the whole thing is. You feel me? It ain't no pressure. Everybody's just doing what they do, adding what they add on to the song, to the music.
Right.
Because it seems like it'd have to be a lot of like, you would feel like you working with one of the best guitar players of our time. You would feel like a lot of pressure. You know what I'm saying?
I love the challenge. It's definitely a challenge because he know all genres of music. You feel me?
You can't be whack.
Nah, you can't be.
You can't be whack.
One thing, pressure bust pipes,
not Black Knights.
Okay. Yo, the
Due
Black
to the
Knights
fact-
is in the building, man.
Exactly.
Please believe
Because you got to realize we was also seasoned by hip hop's legendary group, which is Wu-Tang.
Yeah, come on.
Respect.
Exactly. So they have
Respect.
9 of the illest MCs that ever touched.
And beyond that, they have other,
they have
crew,
and then you got RZA as far as production.
Yeah.
But working with John, it was a different sense because he's coming from the rock and roll, and he's very musically inclined. And sitting with him just on times where
Right.
he took me through ranges of music. Like we'll sit down and one thing he'll pull out some Jane's Addiction. Or he put me up on things like that, or Depeche Mode. But then he'll go to some like Bonnie Brown Love, some old '70s music, or some Donnie Summers and stuff like this.
Yeah.
Then he'll play some Ice Cube.
Yeah.
Some Eminem. Then we'll be off some wine or something, watching something, and then some. I love black and whites. Then he'll pull up some Beethoven or some Mozart.
Right.
So the music range, it's ranges. It goes
unlimited.
It's unlimited. It goes from A to Z back to A to Z again, and then we're all over.
That brings that brings it back, even
Yeah.
to you doing a lot of electronic, music now and everything. How did that kind of like? How did that come about? Did you thinking, to put it out after you've been doing so much legendary rock stuff and known for something else?
I just go the direction that interests me in music. I like electronic instruments because you don't depend on other people, and if somebody learns how to engineer themselves and program all machines themselves, you don't ever have to be in a band with somebody that you don't like just because they play drums or they play bass or something, or they're a singer. Like you can choose who you work with, and so that's what's come naturally about this. Like any musicians that I've worked with in the last 5 years or 6 years since I quit the band, the musical relationship comes from the genuine human relationship.
Right. Yeah, definitely. If it doesn't start organically, like you mentioned, and
it's got to start with that. And this way, I have autonomy because I don't have to interact with anybody unless I find the interaction useful musically. Unless they're going to add something. So when these guys, when these guys get on the mic, they come with full confidence and full belief in themselves and full they trust their own creative sense. They're not worried about what I think about something. They believe in what they're saying. They believe in their styles, and so that works well with me because that's how I am. I believe in what I'm doing, and I don't give a fuck what anybody thinks of it. And so since they believe in themselves in a similar kind of a way, it just works perfectly without anybody having to like tell anybody what to do or anybody having to guide anybody, and so it's such a pleasant kind of musical relationship that it's not like that in bands. Everybody thinks you got to be at each other's throat, you got to be fighting each other, you got to be criticizing each other, you got to be molding each other. With this, like, I'm not trying to change them, they're not trying to change me. And we enjoy hanging out together. We enjoy listening to music or watching fights or whatever it is. And the musical relationship just comes out of that in a really natural way. Our sessions, they're not like a recording studio in a rock band. Everybody's just trying to aim at first of all, aim at being good in everybody's mind, and everybody has a different idea of what good is. And then, you also have like you're under a lot of pressure. You're trying to aim at finishing. Everybody's got their mind on how do I get to the point where I don't have to do anything anymore. You know, with me that never ends until the song's over. But I love being in making a song, like
the whole
to be in the process of making a song. That's the goal for me. Like if I could press a button and have a finished song, I wouldn't do that. I like being in the process, and so in this case, they enjoy being in the process with me in that way. When we're recording, we're hanging out, we're smoking and drinking and enjoying the atmosphere, and we like being in that in that creative zone of being in the creative process together,
making the magic.
To me, the fact that it ends up being a finished song at the end, that's just a byproduct of it. That's not anything that I'm aiming at. I enjoy every single step of the process. That's
dope. That's dope. That's real dope. I was just thinking about it. I wanted to, before I forgot about it. George Clinton also kind of early on kind of came into you guys paths or whatever or something, or how did that come about?
RZA was doing RZA was working on his Bobby Digital. The Digital Bullet album. He was working on Digital Bullet album, as well as him and Chavo from System of a Down. They was not Digital Bullet. He was working on the Digi Snacks album. Pardon me, the Digi Snacks, and also at the same time he was working with Chavo from System of a Down, the bass player. And then they had a group called The Chosen. And so they had brought George Clinton in to do some recordings on those type of projects or whatever. So we was chilling in the studio with George and everything, which was a nice vibe and everything, due to the fact of, that's another thing RZA does. RZA is like, he's the abbot, but he also brings a lot of these good musicians around and puts things together. He's a very good component, as well as
he sees something in somebody.
And puts places, even if he's not working at that sense on that, he'll just the relationships that just meeting people. Just that's how this came about. Just the people that he'll put you around and the people he surrounds himself around is very good. Which is why I respect that man.
So George is on that album?
Yeah, George is on the Digi Snacks album. That we was in the studio. We did that. Then he worked on the Chosen album. But the Digi Snacks album was the RZA album, that the last project that he put out.
Right.
And then we toured on that. But he got like 2 recordings off of them. Then also he did George did the last album, the 8 Diagram. Off of that session that he got out of there.
George stayed working.
Exactly, stayed. Then RZA got him on the Wu-Tang project, which was the 8 Diagram, the last Wu-Tang studio recording that they did, and it was like, so they got him on that project. So it was kind of good. It was a good process that came up out of there.
Yeah, George is the man. You work with George, or how did George?
No. He produced the second Red Hot Chili Peppers album.
Oh, okay. You were already done by then, huh?
No. I wasn't in the band yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was only 16 years old when they made that, or 15 years old when they made that album.
The second album.
Yeah,
right.
They made 3 albums before I ever joined. So George produced the second one. But yeah. I guess that was the last thing I did with Flea and Anthony was George wanted us to cover. He was doing an album of cover songs, and so
wanted you to do.
Yeah,
something.
so he asked me to do it, and then I got Flea and Anthony on it as well, and so yeah, and that song ended up being the swan song of me with those guys.
So it's 50 minutes into the hour. You know what I'm saying? The show. We're gonna go and play some of this medieval. You know what I'm talking about? Get with the medieval chambers on this. We're gonna play a little bit of music. Yo, so look, we want to play a couple of these joints and let's see if we could get some bars. You know what I'm talking about?
All right, for sure. Definitely.
All right, so let's play a couple of these joints. First, we're gonna get into this video, man. We got the Black Knights in the building. We got the legendary John. You know what's how we do it. Heavyweights Radio. Let's get into this music video.
Heavyweights Radio.
Be Real TV.
God damn it!
Heavyweights Radio. We live, y'all. Be Real TV. We got the homeboys, the Black Knights in the building.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Hey, yo, we about to get into this medieval chambers, man. Let's do this shit. Truly, do what we do, baby. Heavyweights Radio. Let's go.
Black Knights, John Frusciante in the building.
Yo, man, we about to get up out of here, man. Yo, before we leave, can we get a couple of bars?
Oh, yeah, for sure. That's how we do on the West Coast. You know it goes down. I'm Rugged Monk. This is Crisis, the sharpshooter. We the Black Knights. Yo, I come through pushing the Bentley with the brains blew out. Try to fuck with me and mine, you get your brains blew out. Black Knights, you know what my clique be all about. We hit the show, we get the dough, we'll hit your hoe and be out. I'm on a paper route, partner, you should be about yours. If you ain't about paper, reroute yours. Either or, be a star, or be a hood legend. Cause I'm a dine with the rich, or sleep with the peasants. Deep as the reverend, here you teach you niggas a lesson. Classes in session, taught by a gangbang veteran. Rugged Monks, the great one. Can't
off the drink, off the Buddha, full clip of hollow tips, and I ain't scared to give it to you. Party like rock stars, hip hop living through us. From the hood to the burbs, they all feel the music. Because I live the music, abuse it, I stay in tune with myself, my soul, the hood, the globe, the blue and the gold, the North Pole, you already know. Put a couple in your skull like it was part of the show. Clap on you like chlamydia, come through and get rid of you, make situations hideous, tell your whole city up.
I'm royalty, that's why I rock my Jews like King Tut. Mr. Rugged Monk, I wild out, I don't give a fuck when I start shooting. Don't ask Howard the Duck, there will be blood, motherfucker. Ain't nobody waking up from a crime 360. And for the first 48 arrive, I'll be out the Compton, swap me. New pair of Lokes and a fresh pair of Dickies. Swiftly making that great escape. Break the steering column of a Cutlass 88. Cause my flow be unlisted, guns be enlisted. RZA scratched the cereal so they couldn't find ballistics. What is this? Amateur night at the Apollo? You brought a knife to a gunfight. Swallow these hollows. My swagger's an outbreak. It's a contagious disease. These niggas so pussy, they max pad need wings. Nigga, please, you couldn't fuck with the West Coast killer bees.
Niggas ain't got nothing for me. Bitches adore me, show they loyalty. Go make that bread come back and spoil me. That's how it goes when you're dealing with royalty. Queens in the concrete jungle say they feeling my poetry. Heavenly psalms, God in my heart, gun in my palm. For you fake niggas that come at me wrong, play like Saddam, that's how we on it. Niggas don't want it, please believe me. My nasty dogs know if it easy. It's all turn, all time to shine. We can go rhyme for rhyme or crime for crime. Black Knights all the time, niggas know I'm down for mine, so stop frontin'. Tuntin' like you're tight or something. Knowing besides them shoes, you fools ain't running nothing.
Hip hop done lost his backbone.
Don't give too many bro.
Yeah, Black Knights
in the building.
Black Knights Heavyweight Radio.
Thanks for coming through, man.
Much love. Shout out to Be Real.
Got a lot of respect for you, man, and you bringing the people through, and it's all love, man. You got an outlet right here if you need, you know what I mean? Just reach out, we got you. Thanks, brother.
West Coast in the building.
Yeah, that Heavyweights Radio, man.
Hold on. Before we go, if you ain't got it, check out that Medieval Chamber, www.blackknightsmusic.com. That's www.blackknightsmusic.com. Black Knights Medieval Chamber. Find us on Twitter, Black Knights 562, Instagram, Facebook.
Heavyweights Radio, we out this bitch.